Hello guys, welcome back. In this video, let's model Muzen Bluetooth speaker in Maya. So I'll be taking you to the process of the whole model. This model looks quite challenging and interesting at the same time. So let's get started. On the other side, I have kept some reference images, which are basically, maybe I'm just browsing from internet. So if you can just have to look of this speaker in different views, and that will help us model it in a better way. So let's get started with that. So the base model is basically the cube itself. So let's do that first. So I'm taking a cube, okay, and then I'm going to match these lines there, and I'm going to make it symmetrically scaled on both sides. Once that is done, I'm going to move the image plane. Okay, so you can switch on the X-ray mode. Okay, you can enable the wireframe, and then you can start looking the model through it, and then you can keep switching between this X-ray mode here. So the first thing is like understanding its form. So I would like to, as I said, I'd like to understand its shape on all sides. So back side, it's not round. I was looking whether it is round. So it's not round actually, it is flat. That's something really important for me to understand. Okay. And on the front also, I could see it's flat, and there is a it's a sharp model. So the reason I'm just talking about that is, let's say if I have to, okay, I'll just move this image plane back, and now I will generally select the bevel and apply on all sides, which I don't want. As I told, I was just looking which corners are round. So understanding your image is quite important, and then start working on the roundness and the segment. So I've got this roundness. I'm not complicating it for some reason. I mean, that is I just don't want too many polygons to be added there. Okay, so keeping that in mind, I'm just looking for the radius of this. I'm looking for the reference on the other side, as I'm telling you. Okay, so the next thing is it has got some thickness. Okay, so let me select that face and then just maintain that thickness there. Okay, once that is done, we need to extrude that line and that line. Okay, this and this lines has to be added, and then again I need to round it there. So I'm going to use the multi-cut tool, or yeah, when I'm using multi-cut tool, I need to just choose this option called plane. So I'm using YZ plane, and then just move it like that, and then I get a line. I could have used insert edge loop, but this is no loop because this is an end gone. So I'm going to use the multi-cut again. This time I'm going to use XZ plane, and then move that line like that. Okay, so that looks pretty good at this point of time. And again, keeping this reference from the back side, I would able to see there is some depth here. It's not at the same level. That's something really important to understand. So I'm going to select, okay, all the faces like that, and then Control E to extrude, and then just slightly scale it. Okay, and make sure that this line is straight and that line is straight. Now I'm going to select this face. But before going into that, I need to select these lines here, and then just move it down. Now I'm going to select this side lines also, because I just want this spacing to be maintained perfectly or uniformly on all sides. Now once that is done, I'm going to select those faces, and I'm going to extrude it up to this level. Okay, again I am looking for the reference here for the thickness, and maybe you can see some images will generally help you understand the ratio of this thickness here. So try to get that rough thickness, and there is something really cool way to understand, because here there is spacing, and the diameter of this wheel is the thickness of this one. So that should be something important for me. So I'm going to put a cylinder, okay, for us to understand. So I'm going to create a cylinder there, and then I'm going to scale it and then place it. So I'm just moving this wheel here, and I'm going to scale this slightly, and then just put it there like that. Okay, okay, now I should be able to see this wheel. Okay, I'm just placing it here, and then I'm going to move this faces, and I'm going to move it up to the wheel there. Okay, so I'm going to bevel the corners here, 1, 2 and 3. I'm going to select those corners The other corners are already beveled, so I need to just bevel those. I'm applying the bevel edge, and I'm going to increase the fraction and segments there, but I need to fix those lines, so I'm going to delete the history. Okay, and I'm going to add this cylinder into a layer, and then just try to move those points up, and then I'm going to move this line a little bit in like that. I'm going to do this on this side also. Like that. So I got some roundness there, and I need to check this roundness also. I could see this line is almost touching the border, so I need to select those lines and then just move it, just leaving a little bit of thickness behind. So I'm going to move it that close, and I'm going to select these points here, and I'm going to move it on the bottom side, and also just fix those lines. Okay, so I've got the lines almost with the same thickness which I wanted. Now we have a lot of lines which we need to fix for the flow. So I'm using this multi-cut tool and then connect it there. And this line, let's connect it there. And I'm going to delete this line and just move it over. And we have a triangle there. And let me move it up and up there, so that I can just get the similar thickness what we have for this. Okay. So I'm going to connect those lines. Okay. And this line is going to be placed there. And I'm going to connect this line there. Okay, and this line here. So I'm going to use the snap tools to snap that to that level, and this one also I need to snap to that level. That's really important. So we have a few lines here, so I'm going to use the multi-cut tool and then connect those lines like that, and those lines there. So backside lines I'll be fixing once I'm done with the front side. So let's connect this one here, and okay, so just trying to sort out that all lines. Okay, just make sure that we don't have any n-gons anywhere. So I'm fixing this on the back side also. We can connect that line here, giving up a triangle, or we can delete that line, making it as a quad. Okay, so that's good. Now we will try to build this shape, but before going into that, you can generally see the creasing. Again, we'll do that once we are having these lines there. Okay, so let me move this line up, and that's really important for us. Or maybe we can select this line. Okay, Okay, we have some issue here. Again, we didn't solve this line here, so I'm going to add that line, and there are 3 lines going out. So we can take these 3 lines and the lines coming from the app, fixing up. So I'll be selecting those lines, connect it like that. Okay. Okay, I'm going to select those faces and then use the multi-cut tool and then choose XZ plane and then just move it as close as possible there, where I'm going to add this line. I'm selecting that line here and then just moving it up, and I'm just seeing if any penetration has come there. No. I'll be scaling this line. I'm just thinking about this extrusion for me to select the faces actually. So I'm going to select the faces there, and I'm going to extrude it. Okay, so again I need to check the thickness. I should be able to see it is very less, and I'll put this much of thickness there. Okay, and this line, okay, I'm going to disconnect this with the corners for now. Okay, and the reason is I want to apply the bevel to that faces. So I'm going to select those faces, I apply the bevel, and then I'm going to add segments. Adding too many segments can actually complicate. I mean, complicate in the sense it adds too many lines running across. So keeping that in mind, I will reduce the lines there. So I'm going to connect those lines there. Okay, so I've connected those lines here, and now we can add that bevel. I need to apply mesh smooth and then start working on it. Okay, I'm just seeing the bevel radius here on my reference on the side. Okay, let me add a loop here and a loop there. Okay, I'm going to select those faces. Okay, and I'm going to scale it and just slightly move it. I choose the back view, switch off the image plane display for time being, and then see the placements. And then I'm going to apply the loop there. Okay, so that's something I've got on this side. This detail has gone inside, I don't know why. So before going into this detail, I'm going to delete the faces and then select those faces and then move it down. So I can select that and then use the point snap to snap equal to that. I'm just selecting that loop and I'm deleting that loop, and then I'm going to add the loop again because that was not correctly placed. That looks pretty good at this point of time. Now this one has got its shapes. Now I need this model to have its creases. Okay, So I've got that nice creases here. Let me take this line and then connect it here, and this one, let's put it there. This adds more sharpness to the model. I just wanted to add lines here in this model. So starting with this, first let's scale this and then move it like that, and then scale this one, and then move it like that. So I'm just trying to keep the faces equal sized, and I'm going to add a line here in the middle. So I'm going to add the loops in the horizontal side also. So let's put 4 and see. Yeah, that should be fine. And the reason I've placed this all subdivisions is our model has got this circle which we need to build, and there is also 4 circles there again, so we need lines there. And I'll bring back the image plane, and you should be able to see here, 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 and here we need the holes there. And when I add lines here, it is going to complicate things. So before going more deep, I just first clean up this model, and then I would like to address this by simple mesh smooth technique. Okay, so I'm going to select these lines and then scale it and then snap it there. Okay, I'm going to take lines from here. Okay, there are 2 lines which have come up, so I'll be deleting those, and then let me select this model, go to the mesh, clean up, and then choose faces with more than 4 sides, clean up, and then you should be able to see 1, 2, 3 places where this problem is there. Yeah, here there's a problem. So I'm going to use the slide edge tool. I'll apply the cleanup again and then see where's the problem here. Okay, this line is not completed, so need to connect. Let me clean up again. Where is this problem? Here also there's a line. Okay, so the model is almost done. So I'm going to do one thing. I'm going to select this model, duplicate it, and I'm going to hide this model and then apply mesh smooth with subdivision level 1, and that brings up this model with a lot of polygons in it. At the same time, you could actually clean up this model also as per the requirement. So I'm adding these many lines, and the reason is clearly simple. I need a lot of holes to be punched in this model, and with less number of polygons, that ends up giving me more problems. So I'll keep these polygons like that. Now I will select the faces and start punching the hole here. I'm just seeing whether these faces are properly centered or not. Okay, once that is done, okay, I'll be selecting this, and then I'm going to apply circularize tool. Okay, and before going into that, okay, you can select create quick selection set. Just now, next time when I click that button, I select the faces. Now I'm going to select this line and move it as corner as possible, like that. Okay, now select the faces and then apply circularize. You can use this twist values and then twist these faces and then place it correctly. I'm going to use the radial offset of 0.01, 0.02 or something like that to match the circle there. 0.03. Okay. I'm going to delete these lines here. Then select those faces and then scale it. Okay. Then press Ctrl E to extrude and then scale it and then move it inside. Let's add loops. So I'm using the insert edge loop tool default setting. And then you get this nice circle. We have a lot of lines coming here. Okay, what we will do is we will add a line. I'm using this multiple edge loops one, and I'm going to add line here, and I want to connect those lines like that. We have deleted that line, we have added it again just to place this properly. Okay, so we have some details here, and that is we have this circular black color piece. We need to bring up that model in the center, and then we need to fit it in this. So the problem is it has got that 1 2 3 4 5 6 lines in it. Okay, so we have these lines here. We have only 4 lines in the center, and we need to create that holes in circular shape, and we need more lines for it. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to select those faces and then extract them. Okay, so I use the mesh tool and then choose extract. Okay, that separates this model with this one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select this model and then assign materials to it so that it starts looking correct, or you get that weight to the model. So I'll take a cylinder with subdivision axis of 8, which is the least number of subdivisions I take, and I'm going to scale this. And I'm going to place it here. Okay, I will delete those lines and then extrude it. Okay, make sure that it's in the center. Once that is done, press Ctrl E to extrude and then scale it. And I'm going to select these 2 points and then grid snap there, and then extrude that outside. I'll be adding a loop in center, and I'm going to select those faces and then extrude it like that. insert edge loop tool, I'll be deleting those faces here. I should have deleted it before I was adding the loops. And the lines which are there in the center are not needed. So that brings up this one. We will add lines there also. I'll be using the multi-cut tool and then choose YZ plane and then place it there for support, and then insert edge loop tool, multiple edges 3. Okay, these lines are important. Okay, I'm going to move the pivot point to the center, press Ctrl D and then move it for the next one and then just place it there, and then insert edge loop tool. Before going into that, we'll move this loop here and then put lines there. Ctrl D, move that to the corner, insert edge loop tools to 2, and these lines are added just for the connections. Okay, now I will connect the gaps between them and extrude and then make the symmetry out of it. Okay, so let's use the combine tool. I'm going to select this line here till this line, and I'm going to apply the bridge tool. Okay, that's the connection. And now I think this line which we have added here is creating some problem. We can add that once we are done with the work. I'm going to use the append to polygon tool and fill that also. Navigation is quite sensitive. So I'm going to use the insert edge loop tool and then add that 2 lines there. I'm going to use the target weld and then connect those lines there. Deleting that line was really important. Now I could understand. Now I'm going to extrude this up to this and then insert edge loop tool. Use the target weld tool. Target weld is not working correctly. I use the snapping method. Now let's select these 2, extrude, scale, snap it there. So let's merge those vertex points. Now let me select those, target weld, extrude them like that, bring it to that level, and merge them. Now let's select these lines here, extrude out, and these lines extrude out. Now these lines extrude out. Maybe in one or two places I can start solving the lines. That will save a lot of polygons. Okay, now when I apply smooth, we should get this. We need to add a line here. So I'll be using a default loops. Okay, so this should give me this sort of setup. I'll be putting the pivot point in the center, wherever it's okay, or maybe you can put it here. You need not change it again and again. And we will select this one, and I think this is locator. Let's keep it that way. We'll use the mirror tool in the negative x-axis, and the threshold value should be 0.001, very important. And then I'm going to use the mirror tool in the negative y. Okay, so let me select the border line and then apply circularize. Okay, now we will move the vertex points in the center. Bit of cleanup can generally help. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to move this to the locator so that it fits in the center like that. I'm going to assign a shader. I'm using a blend shader here, and then make it look matte finished. Okay, let's select these lines, extrude it, and let's add a line closer to it, and that gives me that rim and that third dimension. Okay, maybe we can select those faces. Yeah, it's working this way. You can actually go to the select engine, say select similar. We'll do our job more easy. And then I'm going to expand the selection there, and then use this tool called extract. And the reason I'm using that extract is I just wanted this one to be having the mesh texture and a different material altogether. That gives me more depth to the model. Okay, now we have to select those face edges. Okay, this model is not symmetry, so I have to do on all sides individually. Okay, now I'm going to select the face, or maybe the faces here. Press Ctrl E and then scale it small. I'm going to select this face, and I'm using the circularize tool. I can use the twist option and then try to relax it. Okay, so once I've got that, I'm going to select all the faces, use this tool called transform component tool, and then scale it to the same size and then extrude them like that. I'm going to add lines around it. So I've got that 4 holes on the 4 corners. I can add the screws and all that once I have completed it. There's nothing hurry about it. So I'm going to add extrusion there. Okay, we have to select this vertex and then snap it there. Apply extrude and then move it like that. Okay, let's start adjusting these lines. So mostly that part is done. So let's see what has to be done next in the model. So we have some adjustment knob. So we have to model that there. I'm going to select those faces and then apply circularize component. And then I'm going to scale this and move it there like that. If possible, I can rotate and then relax the lines there. Press Ctrl E to extrude and then just slightly scale and move it inside. And add 2 lines there to get that nice ridge. So let's build this one. So I'm going to take a cylinder. I'm going to rotate it 90 degrees and subdivision axis I'm going to put it to 8, and I'm going to select and then scale it and then put it there to match. And I'm going to scale it and then put it here. Okay, so let me take the caps off. Caps off. Delete those faces. Now I'm going to select these ring edges and then bevel it. Something like that. Or before going into that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to select all the faces and I'm going to use this tool called divisions tool. Add divisions. This tool is very rare tool I use. So we have 2 types. One is exponential and another one is linear. It's not adding up. Let me choose exponential. This is adding. Okay, no problem. I'll delete this line here and select this alternate line like that and then scale it. Okay, and then bevel it and then select these edges and bevel it. Control E to extrude, and then move it like that. Control E to extrude, and then scale it that way. I'm going to scale it to center and use this tool called circularize tool, and then use the twist value of +10 just to keep it perfect. I'll be extruding this and then scaling it. Now let's add loops. This penetrates up the detail. I'll be assigning a shader behind it. Okay, let me extrude it and then merge to center. Gives me the center point there, and here we have a cap. Okay, so I'll be taking a cylinder, so I'll move this cylinder out. I rotate it 90 degrees, set the pivot point at this particular point, and then move it here. Scale it to that level, and here again I'm just having a look on the reference. Select the face, extrude it, and place it that way. I'm going to assign the blend 3 shader, and I'm going to add lines here. Let me select the faces, delete it, and then put it that way. Okay, so let me scale this. Just keep it subtle and then move it. Okay, scaling is not required, and this should be rotated that way to match the reference. Okay, so you're able to see I've done this. There are 2 holes here. Again, whenever I get details on the model, that really puts up the challenge, because that should have lines there. I'm going to select up to this. Okay, and I'm going to apply bevel and add segments. I'll be using the slide edge tool and then slide it over, and I'll be moving it something like that. I'll be scaling this line. Just for the convenience. Delete history. Still, I just wanted this to be on side, so I'm going to select that faces, and I'm going to scale it and move it. So just move it as much as possible here. I'm just looking for some faces to be built without affecting this sphere, because this is connecting with the sphere here. Adding one more mesh smooth can only address this problem, or this is going to throw up by challenge. So I'm going to select add a triangle there. I can't move this line anymore, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a few lines there. And those lines are a must or important for me. I'm selecting those faces, extruding it, and I'm applying a circularize tool just to sort of relax this vertex, and then select those faces. And this is a face with some rib, so I'm going to scale it slightly, adjust those points, scale those faces, press Ctrl E to extrude, and then extrude it. I'm going to select this faces, extrude it like that, and I'm going to add some lines there, which gives up this nice detail. I press extrude here, scale it, and then circularize it. Press Ctrl E to extrude, and merge to the center, and then add the circle. Okay, so as you see, every detail is challenge in itself. We have this model here. This model has got this small diamond shape pattern. Achieving in bump map or normal map is a wise idea, but if you want to model it, you can model it. Let me select a few of the faces here. I'm going to select this line and see if this line is anything to do. I'm actually selecting those faces and I'm just extruding them, but before going into that, I need that nice circular cut, which is precisely on the edge. That's some important detail. So let me take a circle and then put it on top here. Which should generally pass through the edge actually. And I'm going to select modify. Let me duplicate this model, control or history delete, duplicate this and hide it. So select this one and this one, and then just choose convert project. So I'm just looking for a tool. Here we have this tool called project curve and mesh. So I'm just projecting it, and then this ends up giving me this circle. Okay, and then I'm going to select this model and I'm going to make it live. Bring up this model here, go to the modeling toolkit and then choose quad draw tool and delete a few of the faces here like that. And then you can move these points okay, just something like that. And then I'll switch off the live. We'll hide this and select this lines and then extrude it. That's good. Let me select this curve and delete the curve there. I'm going to scale this a little bit in, and I'm going to move it up to this level, or maybe I can select those faces and then just rotate it. Okay, I'm going to select this face, okay, and I'm going to use duplicate face tool, and that makes up a copy. So I'm going to select these two objects, delete history, and then ungroup it, and then select this model. Okay, but before going into that, we will assign a shader to it, blend shader, just giving that nice metal look. Now this model will have the loops, and I'm going to choose a loops of 4, and I'm going to scale this slightly up. And the reason I'm scaling this is I just want this to be square faced, and I'm going to apply this as mesh smooth like that, and then apply mesh triangulate so that you get this triangulated model. Or maybe I can select all the faces and use this tool called poke faces tool, and then pull it up. I'm going to choose hard edge, and then I got this nice pattern. Okay, I'm going to assign this blend 5. What is that shader? Blend 5 to this. I'll be scaling this slightly above, and I'm going to delete those faces. I press Ctrl E and then extrude it and then move it like that, and that adds this nice detail. I can select that vertex and go to the select similar, so it select all the vertex points, and then I can use the transform component tool and then just move it low just to keep it more organic. Okay, so bringing our reference back, I've done all the details which are there on the front. I think it's time for us to work on the top. So I'll be choosing this one, and you should be able to see this is actually light. Okay, so first we will address this part, and then we'll go further. Here is what I want a cylinder to be placed. So I'm going to select a cylinder, set the pivot point there, and snap it here, and I'm going to scale it, keeping this much of margin, and then push it down like that. Okay, so I want one extrusion going here and another extrusion coming here. Okay, so I'm going to select these faces and then extrude them and then scale them if possible. Okay, this is where I need to bring it. I can rotate it like that. Okay, For convenience, what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete the faces here, and then I'm going to choose reverse normals. And I'm going to move this lines and move it outside lightly, like that. Okay, I'm going to put it here. The next thing is I need to put a circle here, and then so for that I'm going to take a cylinder and I'm going to scale it and put it there. So I need to scale it until I get this 1 2 3 4 lines coming there. I'm going to duplicate it here. I'm reducing the subdivisions to 16 and I want to scale it till here, like that. Okay, I'm going to duplicate these two objects, keep it up for the safety. I'm going to select these faces, modify center pivot, and then move it down like that. Do the same thing with this model also. Delete the faces, center pivot, I'm going to move this to this level. I'm going to combine these three objects. 1 2 3. I'm applying mesh combine. So I'm using a line for preserving that shape, selecting the target weld tool and connecting them like that. I'm going to rotate it just for relaxing them. Use multi-cut tool, add it, target weld, like that. Now I can select those faces and extrude them. I'm extruding it again and I'm scaling those faces for that nice bevel effect. I'll go to the top view and fix few of the vertex points there for perfect so I'm going to select this faces and then press extrude and then extrude it again and then move it inside. And here also I have a circular extrusion, so I'm going to select those, extrude it like that. So I'm going to add loops, okay. So this looks good. I'm going to add a line which should be pretty much straight. For that I'm going to use the multi-cut tool, and then for time being I'll use XY plane, and then I'm going to move it like that. Okay, and then we will bevel it and then we'll slide it. Okay, again it's going to affect the model. So select the multi-cut tool, XY plane, I'm going to scale this face. I'll be using transform component tool. It's not working. Maybe I'll use this manual adjustment. to be more precise, and then I'm going to extrude it. I'll be using the insert edge loop tools just to get that nice sharp line. I'll be applying bevel with segments of 2, 0.1. These models may look easy, but as you see, this is more having that details. So I'll be using this lines to cut there. Just try to close the tail between these lines only. And that's the model. Now I need to get that model on this side also. Okay, so I've got all these loops properly done. So I'm going to use these edge loops. And then I'm going to assign blend number 3, which is going to be here. Okay, here we have some screws to be fit. Once I model the screw, I can place it all over. So right now, I'm going to put this here. So let's move it down as much as close possible. And I want to scale this up. Okay, so that has added that detail. Now we will be adding some details on the bottom. That line was not required. There are a few more details, but they are very small. Just applying that screws here and there, and adding the leg stand there. I mean, 2 small stands there. That generally concludes the model, and the back side also we have some detail. So I'll be doing that. They're quite easy, but yeah, you can just check this out.